I'm not sure. Maybe somebody who used to always come up to Nike Hill passed away. I'm not sure if they passed away up here. Really not sure. Somebody brought that piece of memorial all the way up here, so they either did it. They obviously really cared about that person. And look how beautiful it looks. It's really green after the rain. Anyway, I've been wanting to talk about this. It's actually, I forget how amazing it is to come up here. I should maybe even read up here like I used to. I don't come up here as much. Actually, now that I am done with my whole year of running, it's amazing. I didn't do a lot of running. I'm not somebody who ran as a kid, or it's like something that I love to do, or I'm always gonna go back to it. It's actually the first year of my life, 33 years, where I really focused on running. Not the first time I've ever liked running. I've always loved running. I ran last year, the year before that. Not quite as much as this year. I set a goal for 100 miles a month, and I reached it. On average, statistically, I didn't run 100 miles every month. I did average 100 miles a month for the year. I don't know. I noticed I don't eat the healthiest. I hardly eat vegetables. I overeat a lot. When I do eat, I tend to like to go hungry at work, stretch out my meals. But when I do eat, I tend to like to eat, you know. I'm like the leftover guy at my family's house. I eat all the leftovers. I enjoy McDonald's, and follow my YouTube channel. I'm starting to eat out more to make content, and also just the wanting to make content is making me want to go explore. You know, I wasn't one whose mind was expanded. I guess I was just like whatever bullshit was going on at home, and you would just go play sports. You know, your parents put you on a sports team. I read a lot of these books that I'm reading. I often think back to my childhood. I think back to the pictures that these certain authors paint and the images that go through my head. And man, now I see the importance, or just how valuable and how the benefit to reading, and how much more of a benefit it will be for a young mind. It makes you want to travel and see the world. When you read books, authors that live in different places. And yeah, I don't know. Running. Again, I would average, if I ran up the hill, I was averaging like 5.5 miles. If I ran flat ground, I was averaging 8 miles. But I think running had a good benefit just to my life overall through this year. You know, times that I felt lonely, times that I think running kept me disciplined. I think it kept me in shape, obviously. It's a lonely sport. There are running clubs, but I'm not that social individual. Like today's run, my knees are kind of hurting. I haven't had much sleep. I don't know, just in general. I think running did have a good benefit. I hardly keep track of it. I just go run, you know. I just had my one goal to average 100 miles a month. And, you know, probably all the way up until the summer. I want to say all the way up until like the end of June, July, it would just work. So I did have a lot of free time. I was able to reach that 100 miles pretty simply, you know, still doing my burpees, etc. I was still able to run, you know. I had more free time. But when school started, I'm gonna post my statistics so you guys can see right at the end of the video. Towards the end, I think I had 1 month where I barely got over 80 miles. And I think it might have been like 4 months in a row, or 3 months when I started school, that I was not making over 100. It was like less than 100. And also throughout these runs, if I would have done this video at home, I would have had my other phone with me. So I would have been able to read off my stats here. There's maybe like 4 or 5 runs that didn't get recorded, times I didn't bring my phone with me, times that there was a glitch where like I finished my run, I look at my phone and realize that the app that I use, which is the Nike Run Club app, for some reason something happened on my phone where it didn't track my day. I think I ran maybe 2 times, 3 times at 15 miles. 2 times were in the same week. I was really behind trying to make up my mileage, and I ran 15 miles twice in 1 week. And I tried to do it again, like maybe a couple of months later. And it was really hard to run 15 miles. And I just haven't really went no further than 8 miles, maybe 10. I think I did like 10 once. Again, over 1,200 miles. Again, there's these heavy runners that do ultra marathons, people who run marathons, people who average, like professional runners that average like 80 miles a week. I don't know, I think there's a huge benefit to running. Just mentally, you know, like yesterday, a couple of days before when I went to work, or like, I'm just an intuitive person, so like I stopped at McDonald's to get a coffee before work, and I noticed when I went running the day before, I noticed a couple customers in front of me, like they're like too conscious of how they sound, or they don't know how to speak up, or if they speak up, they feel like they're being rude. I deal with it too. And you know, the person's taking their order, so they kind of feel like maybe the attitude from either one of the parties, or one person has to repeat something because they didn't speak up loud enough, and then they repeat it with a little more of like an edge, or a little more of like a attitude, and then kind of like, fuck, we have to deal with this shit. And then when I was noticing that, I noticed how I was feeling. Like, man, I'm chill right now. I just went for a run at school, blah, blah. So I was like too tired or too mellow to like have an attitude. So running could be a natural sedative, you know, natural calming mechanism for you to operate throughout your day. You know, there's days where I woke up slow and I was like, man, I'm gonna go for a run today, but it's boring. Like, I wish I had friends. I wish I could go run. I mean, I wish I could go be around people. But like, I'm gonna go for a run. Like, and when I finally ran, I felt good after. Although those feelings still remain. It'd be cool to maybe meet some girl that likes to run too. All the times I ran up the hill, I could have like met somebody, or all these people that I run by might seem attractive. The years come and go, man. The year went by quick. I'm still gonna keep track every time I run, but it's not like I have to get, like, I know I have to get some exercise in. I have other things I want to challenge myself in, like martial arts. Specifically that, still going to school. And then just to end this video, I'm glad that I don't often think about this because I don't want to be too conscious of it, you know. But it's good to take a moment, you know, and be proud of yourself, you know. Like a year, up until last November, before that, maybe like a year and a half, I was in my truck. I was choosing to live out of my truck. And I didn't think I would ever get a job. You know, I remember moments alone, smoking weed, reading a book, talking to my other neighbors who maybe lived in a trailer. Rest in peace, Odin, you know, my friend. I talk to them, I think like, man, I should go to school, you know, like, damn, I look at this, I was living across the street from the school I go to now. And I would look at it like, man, it'd be cool to go, you know. And then as the process was happening, you know, my truck gets taken away. I had to go back to my folks' place. Like, fuck, I gotta get a job. I can't just stay here, you know. I didn't have no more weed. I can't smoke there, you know. I do miss smoking, but, and I ended up just saying, fuck it. Try out Home Depot. With all the anxiety, with all the PTSD, I still deal with shit, but I feel like I've gotten to know a lot of my coworkers, and they got to become understanding to me. And like this whole year, I went to my Christmas party. I was like happy to go. And I just thought like, man, I'm glad I don't always think about it, because I don't want to like toot my own horn get ahead of myself, but because I always, trust me, dude, days come where I'm like, man, fuck, what am I doing? Just working and like spend money, and man, I could just be like, fucking, you go on fucking Instagram and see people, maybe their brains, they didn't put as much drugs in the past or as much negative shit as ever entered their brain. Any traumatic situations that make it hard for an unhealthy brain that has to deal with a lot of past bullshit, you know. Like, you can tell when people have a brain that operates on a more healthy scale, where they're not constantly second guessing themselves, or totally self-conscious, or they believe in themselves enough to get good at something, and you see them succeed. You know, it could be comics on stage, it could be artists that are tremendously talented, you know, whether it be music or drawing or painting. Smart people, scientists, people getting ahead, and you're like uncertain of what you want to do with your life. At the same time, you just at least aim for things that you enjoy, even if you're uncertain of this, if that's what you're gonna do your whole life, you know. And just gotta keep going, keep going. So I want to encourage you guys, you know. Yeah, I've been working almost like a year and 3 months now. Year and 2 months. I'm in school, exercising. Well, my exercise, like, I gotta advance a little more, you know, I think. And even my job a little bit, maybe try to figure out somewhere where I'm truly happy. Not, like, when you think about something every day, you're eventually gonna do it. I still, trust me, every shift, some shifts, and I'm like, oh, I wanna quit this job, fuck this job, you know. Thinking like, nah, I can't do that yet. I'm not ready to do it. You know, I need a car. You know, I'm looking just to do some sort of like food delivery, just to have some money in my pocket while I get the financial aid and go to school. Because if there's anything I'm gonna quit, definitely can't be on life. Definitely can't be school. It's definitely not gonna be reading books. It's not gonna be my music. It's definitely not gonna be nothing that makes me happy. I'm not gonna quit that. I will quit my job before anything else. I'd definitely be living on the street soberly, maybe with some weed, with my books, exercising. But before I will do all that before I'll give up my job, you know, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think through the ups and downs throughout the year, I feel like I've made progress. I can only continue to make more progress. You know, I'm glad I don't always think about these things, but when I do, I feel a little proud of myself. And I hope you can feel the same. If, like, man, you gotta, just little by little, man. I don't know, some people are trapped though too. Some people are trapped in their job, you know? But those are excuses, man, trust me. They're excuses, you know? There's somebody I know, they started working out, but every time I see them, they're snacking, you know, they're snacking. Even at their 9 to 5, they're snacking. Like, it's just a habit you haven't broke, you know? I mean, there's habits that I could break, you know? There's habits, you know? Nothing's perfect, but I gotta walk down that hill. I probably missed my bus already, talking to you guys, but anyway, y'all. On to my next journey, man. I'm making an excuse too, you know? I could take the bus, you know? I could take the bus to join a gym. There's gyms near me. I can learn martial arts. I'm just a little afraid, you know, because people, when you have to meet new people, they have to kind of get to know you. And if you feel like people won't understand you or they're going to judge you, you'd rather be alone. I know a lot of people are dealing with that shit. I'm not the only person in the world, but, you know, if I don't feel comfortable around certain people, because, I mean, the last thing I want to do is join like a martial art club where I think it's going to be like this, you know, the Zen discipline. You gotta meet the right leader of that martial arts club, because if they're like shit talkers or kind of silly, arrogant people, it's like, man, you're like distorting the tradition of what martial arts was about. So I'm thinking about this now, so I'm glad I'm able to speak this, and now I can kind of understand, like, yeah, that should be my approach, you know, go find somewhere where I feel like the leader of that martial arts facility, club, or dojo is someone who's like a respectable person, you know? That's what I really want to do. I want to do like martial arts. So I want to do like wrestling and grappling and kicks and punches. I just want to become a badass and be comfortable in my own skin, you know? Peace.